You're listening to Read the Damn Book, and this is episode number 13. Welcome to Read the Damn Book podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac, where I read every book of every author that I interview on this show. This is a spinoff of the Webby-nominated My Simplified Life podcast, where we go behind the scenes. I don't just want to hear about the book. I want to hear about the author, the human being behind the words that we all fall in love with. Here, you're going to hear directly from the authors what their journey through life has been like, their journey through writing their book, and some behind the scenes on every book. So let's get started and read the damn book. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac. And before we dive in today, I want to remind you that I have two other podcasts, Burnt, that is co-hosted with Lauren Lehman Carter, and Beyond the Campaign, where I am interviewing different political candidates and politicians and political influencers. So just a reminder that there are 3 shows. And today, let's get into it. We are having a serious conversation, but I promise you there are laughs and giggles along the way too, with Dr. Akilah Cadet. She is a Bay Area person who I just adore. Her book, White Supremacy is All Around Us, is one that I couldn't put down. I learned a lot, I read a lot, I consumed a lot, and I want every single one of you to read it as well. She is sharing her story, her experiences, and so much more along the way. She's also a sports co-owner of the Roots and Soul and shares that story of how that came about and so much more. I know you're going to enjoy it, and it's time we all get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Hello, Dr. Akilah Cadet. I like the name.
Thank you. It's been working for a while now for me.
That's probably the best answer you could have said. I am so stupidly excited to talk to you because I feel like I've been stalking you forever on Instagram and then reading your book. I'm like, I know you. We're friends. And you're here in the Bay Area. So just like a given friend.
Just waving. It'll be there in 45 minutes, but
if there's no traffic.
If there's no traffic. And the carpool lanes are open. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They don't change the HOV lane which way.
Right.
Can you introduce yourself to everyone, please?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Akilah Cadet. My pronouns are bad bitch or she, her. I'm the founder and CEO of Change Cadet, an organizational development consulting firm based here in Oakland, California. In February, I'll be celebrating 11 years, which I just realized today, which is wild. I do a lot of things, and that's because I'm a Virgo. I think that's the most important thing. For people who are listening, who may be from my disabled community, because I'm a proud disabled person. I am a Black woman with brown sugar complexion. I have blonde braids that are hanging down to the sides of me. I'm wearing a black oversized crew neck that says "Do the Work" in white letters. And I'm sitting in my office with things behind me, like my cute dog who passed away a couple years ago. And my book, because I'm the author of White Supremacy is All Around, Notes from a Black Disabled Woman in a White World. I'm also one of the co-owners of the Oakland Roots and Soul. And I'm probably forgetting something else I've done, but yeah, that's me.
It's a lot. And your book is right behind me. It's right there where my finger is.
Yay!
Next to Sharon McMahon's. Yes. I loved it. I devoured it. And when I say I devoured it, it means that I finished it in like 3 days, which is really good for me because all the things.
Yeah. All the things. I love when people say like, I just like powered through it. I couldn't put it down. I'm like, awesome. Thank you.
That's the times I put it down was because I was in total shock that I had to tell my husband, I'm like, you won't believe what this stupid bitch said.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
You, like the stories of the people.
Yeah, there's a lot of wild stories. I'm always mindful of the word stupid. So the funny thing about, or exciting thing about, I'm celebrating 8 years of being disabled is you realize the power of words, right? And so I'm like, oh gosh, that's so stupid. But then stupid is a word that's used in a harmful way in the disabled community. So you'll see me correct myself. So I'll say like, wilds makes no sense. Doesn't have it together. So I'm always reframing it. But yeah, there's a lot of wild bitches in my book.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I told you in my message, I'm like, I'm shocked and not shocked.
Yeah,
And
which is fair. And I'll also same. I'm shocked and not shocked, but I'm like, okay, well, thank you for this. Especially the stuff that was happening in real time while I was writing my book. I was like, you don't even know. You don't even know. It's going in the book right
right.
now.
I don't know if the current environment that we're living in
Mhm.
it's become okay to be ignorant, racist, homophobic, xenophobic, like name all of the things.
All
It's
the things.
okay.
Yeah.
And it's excused. We just saw text messages released and it was like, well, yeah, so it was me, but maybe it wasn't all me, but like, oops. And sorry if you found that insensitive. Like, really? And then people are going, well, they're just boys. I'm sorry. If you are
And
over the age of 25 and almost 40, you are not a boy.
no, you're not. And the person who said that was James David Vance. They're just boys. Like, that's like what they do. No, boys don't talk about gas chambers, Hitler, other racist slurs, or even saying my favorite, if this got leaked one day, we'd be cooked for real, for real. So
And one of y'all leaked it, you ding dongs. Yeah,
2,900 pages of their text. 2,900.
it's crazy. And I mean, I have a boy. He's 10. He doesn't talk this way.
For real, for real? Or do you know that? Like,
No, I know it. I know it because he reads a lot of historical fiction. No joke. And he will come to my desk crying after his 30 minutes of reading. He's like, you won't believe what they did to these people. It's so horrible. Like he
yeah.
would never. He wouldn't.
Well, that's because you are a parent that has taken the time to learn and unlearn. And so not only is your son learning and unlearning in real time with all the things, because we're all always learning and unlearning, but also able to formulate the brain so he won't be in a text thread like this in the future. He'll be the person to say, like, I am not going to be part of that. And you need to not say these things because I know why you shouldn't say those things. And that's not who I am morally, as a person. But as you can see, there's a lot of parents that don't show up in that way. They show up in ways that perpetuate hate and harm and uphold values of privilege and white supremacy that allow this behavior to be celebrated.
It's just so gross. It's so disappointing. It's gross. It's disappointing. It makes me mad. It makes me sad. Like all of the feelings that are not positive. That's how I feel.
All the feelings. All the feelings.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I really appreciated in your book how you share how during 2020, Black Lives Matter, like your business just went booming. And I've been thinking about this a lot because then people were like, yes, like we're in. You didn't see this with Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. And I think then we see George Floyd and literally seeing him murdered in real time. And people started to wake up. And then it was like, oh, well, business as usual. And so we'll just go on with our lives. And now I feel like you must, what is it like now? Because something tells me that you're not seeing it as big as we did during 2020, especially because we have an administration who's like, yay, racism. Let's all be Christian white men. So
Christian only.
yeah. So, well, like, are you seeing an uptick or are we still like going backwards? Because I feel like there's a big backwards movement.
So compared to 2020 and 2021, I made 80% less last year. And I have laid off my staff. I don't have a team anymore. It's just me. It's been like that for a year and a half because the money is gone. So what people don't understand is like, yes, attack on DEI. So DEI things like strategy and partnerships, programming, employee engagement surveys, data, objectives, like those things are pretty much gone or 100% in-house. So part of what my firm would do is come in and solve a lot of these problems through crisis management strategy, um, data. So again, looking at their employee engagement survey or introducing or creating one so they can figure out what to do with their culture, and then also figure out how to promote and hire and support people to diversify their leadership. So one of the things that we did. So that is gone. But what people don't realize is that what DEI also did was allow quotas for other areas of business, what I affectionately call white people shit. So anything that had nothing to do with DEI. So just strategy or coaching or a brand collaboration. So think about it this way. Google, and I shared Google because they were my client for the longest time, got rid of all their DEI stuff because they're aligned with Donald Trump. But they would have quotas like, we want to have leadership development programs for women, or we want to coach Black leaders, or we're moving X percentage of Black people into senior level positions, or all these other things. So that's gone. But so are the things like Google saying we want to have a percentage of our partners be BIPOC or women, disabled, LGBTQ plus community. And that could be something as simple as a photographer. A white woman photographer is also losing money too, because they'll just go to the in-house guy and he's probably a white guy, because that's what we know of these bigger organizations. It's probably a guy, and it's probably a white guy in these positions. And so that's had a profound impact, not only on people who did DEI work or solely did DEI work, but also those who just are part of the demographics of DEI. Again, women, disabled, BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color, and folks from the LGBTQ plus communities. They are the ones that are being impacted. So I'm not alone in this, but it is such a mind fuck, because I was valued and appreciated sincerely in some places, performatively in another way. And now I've reached out to some of those brands like, hey, what's up? Can we collab? Can we do something? Can we partner? Do you need a consultant? You know, whatever it may be. And I hear nothing. And these are like really big companies, brands, celebrities, influencers, entities, whatever it may be, who could not make a decision until I approved it. And now it's like I don't exist. And that's the hard part. So I'm figuring out how to survive in this climate that's created by Donald Trump, but also how to survive simultaneously being attacked as a business owner, attacked as a Black person, attacked as a child of an immigrant, and attacked as a disabled person whose healthcare is literally on the line. I have private insurance, but on the line because of all these changes that are happening. And so I'm in this very vicious cycle of having to hustle and find business, having way more flares in the 8 years of being disabled because of the stuff that we see every day. And even if I'm like, I'm not going to see the news, something's still going to get in, whether it's in a conversation with someone or a text, or someone's going to DM something, or whatever it may be. And it's horrific. But this is exactly what they want. They want someone like me to die. They want someone like me to not thrive. They want someone like me to like lose my home. They want someone like me to not have anything they feel is deemed for themselves in this regime with Donald Trump and co, where they just really want white guys to succeed.
And I feel like it's all rooted in fear, whether we're talking about politicians who I have spoken to Democrats who say Republicans have told us they are fearful of him, not of you and I, the voters, but of him. Mm-hmm. And so now we have companies, especially these tech bros that are here in our area, who are afraid of him. They're afraid that they're not going to get the government money, contracts, whatever it is, in their favor. Mm-hmm. And so they're bending at the knee to do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. I feel like any voter, any American who aligns with him, they're fearful too. They're fearful of, I don't know, being extinct, like as if the white man, Christian man is going away anytime soon. That's how I see it. And I don't know how else to explain why they would be doing this besides the fear that they think that they're going to disappear. So they have to mm-hmm. disappear everybody else. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, good. We agree.
Yeah, and it's exactly that. So a lot of white supremacy is rooted in fear because on one hand, white people know the power that they have. Some white people know the history of the power that they have in this country. But regardless if they are into the historical past, so the enslavement of Black and African people, and the genocide of Indigenous people here, they don't want to connect the fact that they benefit from that power. And that power is so great and so alluring. And the reason why a lot of things have been easier, not to say white people can't have a hard time in life, but have been easier for them, that they don't want to release that. Because the real thing is that white people know how bad life is if you are not a white person. And they feel that if they release the power and everyone has the same thing, they'll be on the other hand of the exact thing they created, which is white supremacy. And that alone is why you have a lot of white women who vote for Donald Trump, even though he was grabbing by the pussy Trump. Why you had a lot of white women vote for him again when after kids were in cages and, you know, you're supposed to be a mother and or you are a mother or you care about kids or whatever, and that doesn't change, up to what we see now and how they voted for him, you know, a third time, because that proximity to power is so great that they don't want to lose it, even though they know that they may lose their part of their healthcare, even though they may know that they may lose care for their autistic kid, or access to abortion, because the power of white supremacy is that great.
It all still baffles. It just baffles me because I don't have that mindset. And I appreciate in your book that when someone says, "Well, I'm not a racist," you're like, "Then you probably are."
You 100% are.
Yeah. And getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And throughout the book, I'm like, I'm wondering myself. I'm like, okay, what have I done? What have I said? I'm like, oh, wait, no, it says that if I'm wondering this, then that means that's a good step.
Yeah, you're 100% fine. I know you're not racist. I know a racist like the back of my hand, which ironically is Black. So you are not, you're definitely not that, but how you are parenting and what you are reading and what you're saying and who you choose to interview and what you choose to wear and how you choose to show up in spaces and places, you're saying, yep, I do have all this power and privilege. And I'm going to use it for good. So the difference between a racist and someone who's not racist is that the racist person uses their power and privilege to harm people. I don't care. That's what they get. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to protest. I'm not going to hire a Latina person. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to feel really good about the power I have of being white. Non-racist people who are either an ally, an advocate, or an accomplice, one of those A sides, they're saying, I do have this power and privilege, and I'm learning, or now I know, depending on where they are on their journey, how to use my power and privilege for good. So, you know what? Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm going to bring Dr. Akilah Cadet on because I read her book that I didn't have to read, and I've learned something from it. So I'm going to share my platform with her to talk about this. Right? So it's like literally doing the work and doing it on a regular daily basis. That work is also just the thought of like, what just happened there? What did I just see on this TV show that has nothing to do with anything? Like there was a dynamic that was there. It's the thinking of that. Or I see the Black person in line at the cafe, so I'm going to stand behind them. I'm not going to go in front of them. It's those little things that are, like I say in the book, indicative to that regular daily routine behavior, just like brushing your teeth and putting on your deodorant. It's those little things that have more of an impact than today I am going to a No Kings protest. That's fine, but that's like a one moment action that's taking the day or 4 hours when you have the rest of your life that has a lot more time than that one protest.
Can you share with everyone the difference between an ally and an accomplice? Because I really loved reading that in the book and the difference, because I don't think that accomplice is used enough the way ally is, and that people think of themselves as allies, and yet there's even more that you can be and do.
So I always like to start off by saying, like, I cannot stand allies. I have no time for allies. Allies are a waste of time. Well, so you can make a choice about things. I am an advocate or accomplice to the LGBTQ plus community. I don't identify that way, but I champion hard for them. So I think it's very fitting that this week that we are having this conversation, we had Indigenous Peoples Day.
Mm-hmm.
But to some folks, it's Columbus Day. It's Monday, right? So an ally can be someone who's like, they've given money to a cause. Maybe they've joined an employee resource group, or they're on the DEI committee at their kid's school, or they're doing whatever, something. But then it's like, oh, it's Columbus Day. So today's Columbus Day. We're taking Columbus Day off. I'm going to do Columbus Day sales because Columbus Day is my jam. Now, someone who is an accomplice will say like, okay, yeah, Monday's a holiday, but I don't celebrate the oppressor, Christopher Columbus, with the oppressed Indigenous people. And so, yeah, they're both two federal holidays, but I'm going to call it Indigenous Peoples Day. And that's what I'm going to do. And just the act of calling it Indigenous Peoples Day is more of an accomplice. An ally does things only to their place of comfort. An accomplice will do things that are uncomfortable. So another way to think about it, and I do talk about it in the book, is think about a beanbag chair. So if the beanbag chair is white supremacy and a white person sits in the white supremacy beanbag chair, it's comfy, it feels good, it's hard to get out of. And that person is having their favorite snacks and they're watching their favorite movie. Everything is wonderful. It's perfection because white supremacy is rooted in perfection. But next to them is me, a Black disabled woman on the floor, because I was told I was not good enough for the structure and the support and comfort of the white supremacy beanbag chair. I'm like, okay, fine. So then I asked for my snacks and pairings, and I'm told I have to pay for them. But the white person in the white supremacy beanbag chair right next to me, they got theirs for free, but I have to pay for it. I'm like, okay, fine. And then finally, for the next movie, I'm like, hey, can we have some representation? Can I see a Black person? Can I see a disabled person in this movie? And then I'm told I am being challenging, difficult, hostile because I'm an angry Black woman. And that is how an accomplice is different. They will look around the room and they'll say, like, Akilah, the Black disabled woman, doesn't have a beanbag chair. So how am I going to get her a beanbag chair? Well, that's the hardest part. But maybe I'm going to say, I want to see a movie with disabled people so she can feel seen. And then when I get a little bit more comfort and understand my power, my privilege, then I'm going to make sure when I get my order, I'm going to tell them that she's going to get the order too, and it's on my tab. And then I'm going to maybe work on the policy to be like, everyone should have free snacks in this space. And then eventually it'll be that beanbag chair, the comfort that comes along with it. Because why is this disabled woman on the floor? Why is this Black person on the floor? They should have the same thing as me. That's what an accomplice does. An accomplice realizes that everything they have, everyone else should have too. And why is it that the person next to them who may look like them, may have an invisible disability, maybe a deeper, beautiful complexion compared to them, why can't they have the same thing? So I always say I would love to have the benefits of white supremacy. I would love to. I would love to be pulled over and the cop to tell me to slow down, not to have my blood pressure go up and think I'm going to die or be arrested or get a ticket that's wildly insane. I would love to go to the emergency room and have my pain be believed from the beginning and not be a drug seeker, even though my chart has all of my heart conditions in it. I would love that. I would love to sit in first class and not be questioned and told you're boarding too early when I'm going to first class, because why would a disabled person or a Black person be in first class? I would love to get promoted at work when I had a 9-to-5 job. I would love to get promoted for just being there, because white guys get promoted for just being there. And that, also compared to white women, we're always, as women, doing more stuff there. I would love those benefits. I would love to know that my family, my loved ones, my extended family, they live in neighborhoods that are walkable, that have public transportation and fucking green trees and grocery stores. But that's not the case for everyone in my family. I would love those things. And so white supremacy just says, white people get this, and that's it. And if you are from the LGBTQ plus community, you get a little bit of it, but you get more of it if you acclimate to cisgendered norms. And if you're disabled, we don't like you, but you're white, so we'll make sure you get, healthcare. I would love that, but we don't have that. So that's why I'm always talking about dismantling white supremacy because that dismantles xenophobia, ableism, homophobia, transphobia, patriarchy, like so many things when we get rid of it.
Yes. I'm nodding along going, yep, all of this, please. Yes. And yeah, as you talk about some of these things, even down to, the police officer pulling you over or anybody else. I mean, I thought about this when I saw George Floyd being murdered and my son, because he was like kindergarten at that time. And I was thinking of, what is it going to be like for him to grow up versus what is it for a Black boy who's his age now to grow up, and what are the differences? And I sat with it for a long time of what is the difference between how a Black mother is having to raise her son with these warnings versus me. And so my job as a white mom is to raise my son with the understanding of what the warnings are that are going to the Black son.
Yep.
That is my job. And I feel that is the job of every white mom. And right or wrong, I feel like white mothers need to step up. And this is, if every mother did something like this, then we might see a difference. But they're not doing that.
Yeah, they aren't. Unfortunately, I mean, there are some who are doing the work too, and I would add to that, what you're saying is really powerful, and it's great, and it's advocate, and it's accomplished behavior, and it's also simultaneously teaching your white son that he's going to have power like no other. Things are constantly changing, so we're not going to know what his adult life is going to look like because I knew we'd be here, but most people don't realize that we'd be in this situation. And so it's helping him understand that he has the power to de-escalate those situations. He has the power to be responsible about his words and what he's saying and doing. He may see kids making fun of someone, and that someone could be whoever they identify. It could just be the kid that they decided to bully, of how he can step in because he's going to have white male privilege. So, you're giving him the tools and building the muscle. And so as he gets more and more power, he's going to have power when he's in middle school. He's definitely going to have power in high school when you have to pick a group for a team project. If he plays sports, he'll have even more power. If he doesn't need leadership in anything, he's going to have any more power. And you're going to want him to, as much as he's aware of what can happen to that Black kid, you're going to want him to be like, I want you to be the president. I'm going to run for VP in this group, or we should both be chairs, to like share that power as he is going to eventually go into a place where he could be the land of zero accountability. And you're already working on teaching him those types of things. That's why we see so much happening with this current regime and this administration and authoritative government, all the stuff that's happening. It's just, these are white guys who've never been held accountable. So they do whatever the fuck they want.
As we look at these text messages and they're referred to as boys, I go, well, if they're going to be referred to as boys, where are their mothers?
Where are their mothers?
Where are their mothers? Because
But also, where are their fathers?
Right. Yes. But speaking as a mother to the other mothers.
Right. Yes.
Where are y'all?
Yes. Right.
How do we this has to be an internal decision for people to really feel like, okay, I need to do something, to say something, to look internally. How do we bring them in to want to take that step? Is there a way that we can, that I can, that anyone who's listening can? Because you can't force someone to act a different way, to see this other side. But how do we make them uncomfortable to the point where they go, oh, maybe I do need to take a step back and think about what I'm saying or doing and teaching my kid? Is that possible?
Yeah, it is. The goal is to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So in order to answer your question, I have to explain what I have to do to live in America. So I have been in white spaces since preschool. And typically the only other Black kid in the class was my twin sister, because my parents worked really hard and I grew up in a primarily white and Asian neighborhood. So I've had to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable since I was in preschool. People would have questions about what I'm wearing or my hair. I distinctly remember, because my dad's he's retired now, but he was a lawyer at the time, that I had to answer questions in 5th grade about the O.J. Simpson trial and the verdict, because I was the only Black person in the class. So thus, therefore, I'm representing all Black people, right? So I say that to say that because I am not part of the dominant group, I've had to grow up learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. This is easy for me. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable right now. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable when I go outside. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable when I'm in first class or I'm speaking in front of thousands of people. Whatever. I'm accustomed to it. White people don't have that because they're part of the majority. So they don't have the skill set to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable because they're always the dominant group. So there's always someone else who looks like them, lives like them, talks like them, sounds like them. So they don't know how to learn other ways to do things. That's also what upholds values of white supremacy. So to answer your question, what do you do for folks who need to get in the position of learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable? Is you just ask them one simple question. Why do you think insert oppressed group here doesn't deserve the same humanity as you? That's it. So make them tell you, well, they don't deserve to have health care. And there's people who will.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, you know who's chosen to be racist, homophobic, xenophobic, and so forth. All you have to do is decide who that person is going to be. So decide who you are first. If you want to commit to being racist, do it wholeheartedly. Be racist. Don't budge. Be racist fully. You got to commit to that. But if you don't want to be racist, transphobic, homophobic, xenophobic, whatever the thing is, ableist, then you have to actively learn and unlearn the patterns and behaviors that you've been taught to do the same thing, to see my humanity. So if I ask that question to someone, you tell me why I don't deserve healthcare as a disabled person. You tell me why I don't deserve healthcare as a Black person. You tell me why I don't deserve healthcare as a woman. You tell me that. Tell me why, in order for me to do family planning, I have to make sure I'm prepared to die. Because that's what happens. In America, statistically speaking, it's one of the worst places to have a baby. Our maternal rates are trash. They're absolutely horrible. But when you add being a Black woman on top of that, you have to plan on dying to have a baby. And you have to plan on your baby dying too to have a baby. And then you have to plan on finding a gynecologist who also doesn't want to kill you. And then you also have to plan on finding a pediatrician who doesn't want to kill your kid. You have to do that just to have a kid. There's so many white moms who are excited to have a kid. Like, they're excited about that. But I can't be excited about that because it's synonymous with death for me. And that is my humanity. So why can't I have the same opportunity as a white birthing person or a white mom or potential mom or whatever? Why can't I have that? So you tell me why, right? So again, it comes back to, why do they not deserve the same humanity as you?
And I feel like any mom who doesn't get that simply hasn't done their research.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are just facts. You're simply stating the facts. This isn't opinion. This isn't, oh, well, this is how you feel. And, you know, it's an extreme. It's literally the facts.
Mm-hmm.
It is statistically proven for any. I say this because I want anyone who's listening to fully understand and grasp that what you're saying is not something that comes out of this is how I was raised or this is my belief. It's a fact. Period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe if people understood more that these are the facts, these are the statistics in America, then maybe that would make a difference. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I would hope.
Yeah, but I don't have the privilege to not know the statistics.
Right.
And that's another benefit of white supremacy. Well, I didn't know it was like that for Black mothers. Yeah, you've lived the life where you don't have to know that. It's easy, right? And so that's where the the other part of learning and unlearning is so crucial. So yeah, you want to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable, but you have to unlearn things and you have to learn things simultaneously to be in that position. Again, oppressed groups already have to do that. So in order for me to be successful, I had to make sure that white people felt comfortable around me. White people don't have to do that. So I have that skill set. It's inherent in me. I've seen my parents do it. I've had to learn how to do it myself. I've had to navigate all those like spaces and places, to make things happen. So, and that in itself is maybe a potential flicker of a light bulb or a light bulb moment for some folks who may be listening, that they don't even have to think about those things.
I love the way you call people out in your book, the stories, because I'm like, oh my gosh, she's such a badass. Like you're just like, no, you said this and it's not okay. And I'm going to take some time. Like, you think about it. And then the thing that kept coming up for me was like the white woman tears. And I'm like, holy shit, like, come on, ladies, come on, please. What are you doing? And if I really hope that they pick up your book if they're in it, to reflect back on these moments, to see how ridiculous it was for them to come crying to you when they were the ones doing the things, being the racist, being the really negative, horrible human being in that moment. And maybe you're not horrible like all the time, but you were really horrible in these moments and you were called out on it and you're crying about it. It's like when my kids get in trouble, I'm like, don't cry to me. You did it. You did it. Take ownership. And there's a lack of ownership.
There's always a lack of ownership. It's the privilege of being a white person. Yeah. So I don't call people out. I call them in. I give them an opportunity to hold themselves accountable and to take action. So let's talk about that. So we did a lot of calling out, cancel culture, calling out. It's saying you suck. When we call someone in, we say that sucked because you probably don't know X, Y, and Z thing. My experience, the data shows historically, whatever the thing is. That gives a person an opportunity to learn and unlearn, to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and then make a choice of how they're going to move forward. So here you go. This is racist board I talk about in my book. This is not only verbal racism, it's physical racism. And you're all telling me you have to think about it. You have to think about it. So you told me that you don't care about my intersectionality, my experience on the board. What you're saying is this white woman who is harming me, her value is more important than mine. Even though I was a diversity hire on this board. And so it's in those very moments, and I share those stories so people can know how folks are so in love with their white supremacy that they will do whatever they can to support it, whether it's a person, themselves, the company, the brand, whatever it is. They will support it through and through just to keep the space and place of being comfortable and not feeling remotely uncomfortable. It's my job as the Black disabled woman in those three parts of my intersectionality to feel uncomfortable. It's not that part of the white any person in that space. And that's not right, but that's how it works. So then I have to miss out on opportunities because it's no longer a supportive or safe space for me to be in.
You have much greater patience than I do.
I mean, it depends on the day. Depends on the day. You can get me at a moment in time and I'm just like, I will say I just don't have the capacity for this. And that's it. I would love to say many things, but then there's other times where it's like, you know what, Lululemon, y'all are racist as fuck and everyone needs to know that. You hired me to not be racist and you've chosen to commit to being racist. So let's go.
I knew it was them.
Yeah, privileged pants is Lululemon. So when I wrote the book, I couldn't say it publicly, but when the book came out, there's this huge expose that happened with Business of Fashion, thanks to me. And it was around a year of putting that article together to talk specifically about how they treat Black people, their partners, their ambassadors, and their employees. So yeah, Lululemon is trash.
As I read it at first, I'm like, privileged pants. I've never heard of this brand. And then I'm like, oh, wait, this is a code name. Okay. And then I'm going, it's got to be Lululemon. I don't own a single article of their clothing. Never have. I won't. I don't. And I'm like,
there's so many other brands that are out there that are better. It all comes from similar factories anyway. But I mean, I had a lot of Lululemon. I made a lot of money with Lululemon, but ultimately people should read the book to hear about how they're racist. Or just Google my name and Lululemon, and it also pops up. I've gone viral with Lululemon being racist, but I use that example because I do believe anyone, company, brand, celebrity, influencer, has an opportunity to learn and unlearn. And we had some strides, but then they just course corrected to their level of comfort. How they were started was started by a racist white guy. So, can things change? Absolutely. And we have to believe that things can change. That's how we dismantle white supremacy. But when folks are like, no, I'm just going to be racist, we have to just let them be racist. Let them lean into that. And we have to decide how we show up for that brand, celebrity, influencer, entity, employee, whatever it may be, friend, family member, right?
Yeah. President. Whoever it may be. I really like you. I loved reading about you going to Thailand. I wish it was a better trip than certain parts of it were, but I was like,
it was still a beautiful trip.
I Googled where you went. I was like, these are the times I put your book down when I was shocked and had to tell my husband when I was
I tell you to Google, so that's very good. Yeah.
I did. Real. I was on top of it. I take instruction very well. I'm like, where is she going? Okay, now how much is a plane ticket from there? Mm-hmm. I looked. Yes. And the rings, I was like, I need to go and stalk your Instagram more so I can get close-up shots.
When we have, I'm wearing 19 rings at the moment.
And they all they're all like either a reward for something, they mark a milestone, or you left them at home and needed to replenish while on
But that was a milestone because that was my first Grammy event. So I couldn't have naked hands.
Yeah.
What is that? But no, they upped the stack. They stayed. They didn't go. They stayed.
I love it. See, I'm like, I got to make sure that we mention all these other fun parts too.
Oh yeah. Well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you have a question about something in the book? Like, do you want to know what happened about something that I don't talk about in the book? Or more details about something where you're like, I can't believe that happened.
The whole wine stuff, totally. I was floored on that one. And I loved learning about your knowledge about wine. And it's so interesting. And I'll just, this is just me because I know that in the book, you're just like, you do this like tongue in cheek of like, did you find yourself questioning why I knew that? And I was like, no, I found myself questioning like, how did you know all of this? Not like you're a Black woman. How do you know about wine? It was where'd you get this knowledge from? That's right, what I wanted.
But you think differently. You think differently. And that's the thing that's really great about you, Michelle, because you're just like, but how do you know this? And that's how people should think. But there are people who'd be like, well, why would she know about wine? And then that's why I have a chapter about my ancestors, because so people know where I came from, to have that in there. But I was literally in Napa yesterday at a wine event. And the first chapter Michelle's referring to is White Women Are Exhausting. And it talks about a time when I'm invited to speak in Bordeaux, France, as part of this international think tank about the future state of wine that I'm part of. And it was the first time, and I don't know if I say that in the book or not, but it was the first time that I had car service with a sign. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening. This is so exciting. It was really great. And I'm like, that's me. Ah. And this white woman says the N-word multiple times. Right around the 4th of July holiday. I was so annoyed that I was dealing with that in a different country. This white woman lives in Atlanta, and she still writes for one of those publications. And I hope she's one of those individuals who read the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she is horrible.
Yes, I thoroughly agree, because I had to put the book down in the first chapter. I'm like, damn, who does this? I don't get it. I won't get it. I'm still hopeful for your mom journey. I mean, that's very personal, and you shared it in the book, and I was like, oh, please, yes.
Yeah, no, I'm working on that. I'm working on lots of different things. So, we'll see how that goes. I thought I could do it in partnership, but I've had sperm for many years. So, because I'm a Virgo planner. So we'll see. A baby is going to happen one way or another.
I love that. And I can't wait to meet that little human being and kick soccer balls with them. And
oh yeah, they're gonna
okay, there's a question. How did you become co-owner of the Roots and Soul, which have totally taken off for anyone who's not in the Bay Area? Like, this is the big thing with the Oakland A's have left us, and they're in Sacramento now. And I know you're from Sacramento, but still, y'all went to Sacramento while you're waiting to build a place in Vegas.
But they don't even claim Sacramento.
No, it's ridiculous. But now we have these soccer games playing, and we haven't gotten up there yet because we're playing rec soccer ourselves. So
that is the hard part. Yeah. So I accidentally became an owner of 3 soccer teams. So the Oakland Roots is the men's soccer team, and all in the USL, United Soccer League. So in US, there's MLS, Major League Soccer, and NWSL. And then there's also USL, and USL has men's and women's divisions. So the Roots is the men's pro team. The Soul is the women's kind of like nil team, but they will be going pro. We already have our spot for them to go pro. And then there's a development league, like a G League in basketball, Project 510 for men's soccer. So Lululemon, when I was working with Lululemon, one of the things I would do was vet their urban partners. So essentially it was like anything that didn't have a majority white demographic as far as the city. And so I was invited with execs from Lululemon to go to the headquarters of the Roots. It was just the Roots at that time. And our headquarters are in Alameda, California, at the former Raiders training facility. So talk about wild. And I grew up a huge Raiders fan. So I was like in the spot.
We are a Raiders household too.
Yeah, I'm mad at them though, because they left.
Abandoned us, yes.
Yeah, so I'm having issues there, but I do love the silver and black. And so I hate the NFL though, so it's a whole thing. But so I'm there, and Idris Arganjawal, who's one of the co-founders of the Roots, is doing this presentation about potential partnership, because Lululemon is doing little things and thinking about a larger partnership. And he shared that a women's soccer team was on deck. And the women's soccer team, they had 2 crests. So for those who don't understand real football, which is soccer, a crest is like the team logo. 2 crests, and I was sharing those and done to the presentation. And I was like, hey, here's what's wrong with your crest. You should actually do X, Y, and Z. Sorry, not sorry, I'm a Virgo. And so, because, I give none of the fucks. So I went up to him afterwards and I was like, hey, just so you know, Lululemon is my client. I'm not an employee of Lululemon. So if you want to talk about what you're doing and building, because I think it's really great, I would love to sit down and talk to you. And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. He walks me to my car, we exchange info, and he was like, by the way, I'm a Virgo. So then I knew we were going to be inseparable after that. And it's true. So our birthdays are 2 days apart. We think the same. And so the next day he texted me and he was like, hey, I would like for you to introduce the women's soccer team to the city of Oakland. We're having this big event and I want you to be the MC and the host. And I was like, first of all, yes, but second of all, why? So we had a quick little chat, and he was like, the way you told the story, and by the way, everything you said I incorporated in the crest. So the crest is mine. I'm part of the team that designed the crest, which I'm very proud about. I took into consideration, but your storytelling is just so great. I just want you to do that. And I said, cool. Slight problem. I've never been to a Roots game. And he was like, well, come this weekend. So I went to a Roots game. I fell in love with it. At that time, I was at Laney College in Oakland, California. And I was like, I need to figure out how to be part of this. So he felt the same way. So I kept meeting with executives, fast forward for a year and do little things. The chair of the board called me down to headquarters. He said, Akilah, I want you to lead our community investment round. I said, no. And he's a white guy. He was like, no. I'm asking you to lead the community investment round. I said, yeah, I hear everything you're saying. No, I'm not going to do it. We went back and forth for like 45 minutes. And then in my head, and I do not think this of Stephen Aldrich, who is absolutely wonderful, but in my head, I thought about what a lot of women think about. I can be a mediocre white guy because mediocre white guys do stuff all the time. And so I said, fine, I'll do it. So not only did that happen for me to lead the campaign, I also became the lead investor. So Stephen did the same thing to me again. He was like, hey, I want you to be the lead investor. I was like, well, what happened to this plan we had about getting like an athlete or retired Bay legend athlete to do that? And he was like, no, I thought about it. It's you. You're the celebrity. You're the person who needs to do it. I said, no. So we did it again. Then I said, fine. Anyway, first day we raised $1 million. And at the end of that first round, we closed at 3.1 million, and it is the most successful community investment round in American sports history. And so that's how I became an owner. I put money in as a lead investor, and then I got all this ownership because I raised all this money. So
that's amazing. I know you have your last game coming up on the 25th.
I do.
Of course, that's our Jamboree day. Wouldn't you know?
It is.
Like, don't you all know?
I'm happy to host you for, next season. There's going to be a game that works. When the schedule comes out, I'll ping you. We can find the one, and I'm happy to host you and your family to come out. But what I will say is that I did not plan on being a woman in sports, but now I'm a woman in sports, and I love it. It's great. I'm a former athlete. I played basketball and tennis, so I do love sports. My dad loved soccer. It was always around. Again, I'm a child of immigrants, so my dad's proudest moment, I'm 100% sure. Not my 3 degrees, not Forbes list, owning a soccer team. He's like, that is, that's great. But I'm the only primary women's owner for this team. I'm the only signatory. I'm a board observer. So I'm in a position where a lot of women are not, but particularly Black people and also disabled folks. And so I don't take that lightly. So wherever I can go with other collabs that I've done with like the San Francisco Giants and the Valkyries, anywhere I can go in sports to help diversify that is like one of my sole missions. So it's a lot of work. There's so much peni. It's everywhere. It's plural for penises. Peni is everywhere. It's a male-dominated space. It's exhausting. There are assholes all around sports industry. They're definitely there. But I like going in there and diffusing situations and watching people scramble when they realize that I'm the owner. It's very fun.
Oh, I love it. I can just imagine. I want to be a fly on those walls.
Yeah. You're the co-owner? Yeah, me. No, but I went to the game. The weirdest thing, though, I will say is that dating apps, when I was on a dating app, I would see a guy decked out in Oakland Roots head to toe, and I'm like, nope. I gotta can't do that. This is not gonna happen.
We just have stickers in this house. They're on water bottles. No joke.
Which is great.
Yeah. They're on water bottles. There. I find them floating around the house.
It's wild. Yeah. We had our merch at World Cup. The last World Cup I've seen merch in New York. I've seen merch in different cities, and I'm like, that's my fucking team. That's wild, and it's just great.
There was the FIFA like kickoff thing that we did here in San Jose. So we went to that one morning, and there was the booth. And so the kids were like, we need all the things. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. And World Cup
will make it to a game.
Is here next year. So it's going to be
supposedly until he decides that we're too woke for hosting FIFA.
Well, you can't change that. That ship is already sailing because you can't. We have 6 games happening here in the Bay Area. So it's going to happen.
We know that, but
whether ICE will be there or not is a whole other story. But yeah,
it's okay. I'm learning Spanish. We're good.
Muy bien.
You are just. I love you even more. we're good friends now. I'm just
we
calling
absolutely
it.
are. No, it's great to have this conversation, support your podcast, to see your beauty radiate inside and out in this capacity is wonderful. So keep up the work, keep doing the great things.
And I'm gonna take your signature line, and you keep being amazing. Because I know that's your line.
It is. We all can keep being amazing.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Friends, I feel we all have our work cut out for us, whether it is being comfortable with being uncomfortable or standing up and speaking out. And again, getting uncomfortable. Just do it, because we need to change society the way it is today. It's not okay. And if we don't do something, say something, speak up, then it's only going to get worse. And I, for one, do not want to live in a country in which it gets worse, in a world in which we don't hold people accountable for what they say and they do, because we know better. Therefore, we need to do better. Go follow Dr. Akilah Cadet. Get her book, White Supremacy is All Around Us. Go to a Roots game, go to a Soul game, and make sure that you keep being amazing, but also get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and go read the damn book.